There's an old saying about poker being so risky you could lose your shirt. Death Game Hotel is looking to take that up another level in a VR gambling game where you can literally wager your own body parts to try and get through the game. This touts itself as a horror survival gambling simulator with both single player and multiplayer modes, with players stepping into a strategic gambling world with visceral competition. The game is set to launch on July 11th at a price of $19.99. There is a 10% pre-order discount, which I usually don't recommend because if you wait till the day the game launches, 1, reviews will be out, 2, you can usually get a referral link that'll save you 25% off anyways, although they are offering a hamburger box and beer if you do pre-order this. This is a game intended for adults only with a mature rating of 17 and up due to the nature of the game. The visuals of the gameplay look pretty promising, although the assets that you get for pre-ordering do look pretty basic, making me wonder how the assets will actually look in VR. The Exit 8 launched last year as a flat game to extremely high applause with an overwhelmingly positive rating currently on Steam. This confusing underground horror game has actually coming to VR now on the Quest on July 11th at only a price of $6.99. This game takes inspiration from Japanese underground passages, games like the Backrooms, and basically says you just need to get to Exit 8 and get out, although there may be anomalies and other things to deal with. This one's on my list to keep an eye out for, and with a pre-order discount of 14%, that could be worth it because the game is under $10. You can't actually use a referral link, and even with that low of a price, remember you do have a policy where you could return the game in 2 hours if you decided it wasn't for you. The Infinite Inside is a puzzle game that blends virtual reality and mixed reality seamlessly in a demo that we have been able to try over the last couple months in anticipation of its final launch date this July 12th. Currently, the only option is to wishlist it still. It is not up for pre-order yet, but after trying the demo myself, I can say personally I've been watching and waiting for this game, and this is going to be a day one purchase for me. And a lot of people agree because people have been able to rate this early based on there's already 100 ratings giving this game a perfect 5-star rating, with the lowest reviews being 3-star ratings and people only wishing that they could save their progress in the demo, or people bringing up that the boundary can be immersion breaking if you don't have enough space around you. If you like puzzle games and this wasn't already on your radar, I would say definitely watch out for this one. Brazen Blaze is a game that we've talked about a bit in the gaming news before, and you might recognize because it's also been in beta for the last couple months. This 3v3 game is not only a melee-focused combat game, but there's also parts of the environment around you that you can actually destroy too while you're playing. Whether you're jumping through the air, dashing, and just pounding your enemies into the ground, you're destroying things around them. And with the beta having been out, we get a glimpse of what people think so far, with the game having about a 4.5 rating. People saying that they were surprised how fast-paced the game runs, people saying it feels like Spider-Man and Doomfist colliding, and the game is reaching its full release July 18th at $15. There's also a 13% pre-order discount. I got to get into the beta a little bit myself and play too, and I've got to say, if they can keep delivering on what they were able to pull off even in the beta, this would be a combat game to watch out for. Yeeps Hide and Seek is actually a game I've had countless comments from all of you out there to cover in some of our free games list videos. This is a game that's been in App Lab available for free for a while, and it's getting its full release on the actual MetaQuest store on July 18th. This is a game with movement inspired by Gorilla Tag, but really building on that premise. You're a Yeep, your belly's full of all kinds of stuffing that you can use to craft different items, whether you want to play hide and seek, try to kill your friends, or just hang out and build all kinds of impressive structures and play with the props in it. There is a ton to do in this game, and with it being on App Lab, it's got over 24,000 ratings, giving it a perfect 5-star rating, with people saying in the reviews they absolutely love the gadgets. It's one of the best VR games out there. All the objects and stuff you can do are really amazing, but like many free multiplayer games, people saying the only issue is potentially the other people you run into, the fact that if you let the wrong people in, they can destroy what you've made. But whether you have a group of friends in VR you want to get in and try this with, or you want to find new friends, Yeeps is hugely popular, and once it makes it to the MetaQuest store, it's only going to be even bigger. It was a huge and exciting announcement when we found out Attack on Titan was getting an official VR game on the Quest, Attack on Titan VR Unbreakable. Well, we have finally reached the month where this game is going to launch in early access on Quest at a price of only $4.99 while it's in early access. The initial launch is supposed to include the single player mode for chapters 1 and 2, which both claim to be 2 to 3 hours of gameplay. An early access price of $5 does kind of scare me personally, because that seems like such a low price. It's like subverting expectations. There have been some news publications and big VR content creators who, looking at the gameplay already, are saying that it looks kind of rough. But keep in mind, this is early access for now. I'm personally really excited to enter this universe and check it out, although there have been fan games that have been made on the Quest before that actually worked surprisingly well and show it can be done, and hopefully in a manner that's not too rough. But we'll report back to you as the game actually launches and how it's doing in early access. Thrasher is a game from the same artist and composer of the game Thumper that was a really cool and visual and musical game on PSVR. Thrasher advertises itself as an arcade action odyssey and visceral audio-visual experience. Whether you're using hand tracking or touch controllers, you use your hands to control a space eel in front of you, changing around the landscapes, all possibly in time to the music that's going on. Now, if this is anything like Thumper, if you are interested in the game, I'd recommend get your best set of headphones out or Bluetooth to a subwoofer if you are able to set that up and sit on top of that subwoofer, because the music and the bass and the way it hit in Thumper was so amazing and made for a really cool trippy game experience. After playing Thumper, I am definitely excited for Thrasher. It's coming July 25th with a price tag of $19.99, 10% pre-order discount. You're always going to hear me echoing the same thing, that 10% is way less worth 25%, especially because you'll be able to wait and see what the reviews say about it by then. But if you played Thumper and liked it, it looks like this is going to be along the same veins as that. Now remember that launch dates are always variable, and some games, even when they've given us a definitive launch date, it still can get pushed back, and other ones who have only given us a month were reporting that the game should come out this month, but that can easily change. Stabby is one of those games. It's supposed to come out July 2024. It's a multiplayer assassination style game, and like the name Stabby, it requires stabbing for everything in it. You can stab your way to climb up walls, jump off buildings, take out your targets, stab your friends with up to 6 people in the same lobby. This follows other similar games where basically your stabbing challenges are rated by up to 3 stars depending on how quick and how accurate you were. Not only does it have single player challenges, but there's of course the multiplayer, different game modes in it like King of the Hill or Tag, and it does seem like another different take on this locomotion style that's based on moving your hands around heavily that a lot of people believe was pioneered by Gorilla Tag, but it does seem to be evolving into a different style in many kinds of games now. The game's only $9.99, but the pre-order discount does put it down to $7.99, meaning it's too cheap for a referral link, and even though it hasn't been released yet, somehow it has 2 5-star ratings with no written reviews. Developers maybe? It's definitely a game I'm curious about, and I'll be watching for the reviews and what comes back on it, as the descriptions strike me a bit more like a game that might be a free multiplayer game with cosmetics rather than a game that has a price tag from the start, but we'll see if it releases this month as it's supposed to. Zero Caliber 2 is also another game that is supposed to be launching this month. Zero Caliber 1 was a 2018 release in VR, a first-person shooter, but unlike a lot of them at the time, it wasn't just a multiplayer shooter, but it had a full campaign that could be played single-player or co-op with a friend. I will say personally, I played this with one of the other guys from the podcast, and we had so much fun playing together just because it was a co-opable game that it did kind of get us to look past the fact that it didn't feel like the best shooter. But with that, over the years, Zero Caliber has about a 4.3 rating with over 3,500 ratings, leading to this sequel that is now should be coming out this month. The sequel does cost a little bit more. It's priced at $29.99 with a pre-order discount bringing it down to $26.99, where Zero Caliber is still sitting at $24.99. The pre-order also comes with a bonus of an in-game weapon, but basically this game promises cinematic action through the campaign, different weapons you can unlock, and then PvP modes pitting up to 10 players against each other, and it even has mod support built into it. I love a good co-op VR game where I can get in with a friend and play through it. Zero Caliber 2 might get me back in. Some other quick game news this month in case you missed it. Whether you got a Quest 3 and you're still rolling that 6 months of free Quest Plus, or whether you decided the price of $8 per month or $60 annually was worth it for Quest Plus, you do get Creed Rise to Glory Championship Edition and The Last Clockwinder free this month through that program. For those unfamiliar, it's a lot like PS Plus or Xbox Game Pass, where as long as you're paying for a subscription, you get a couple different games free every month. Old games, sometimes slightly newer games, and then as long as you keep that subscription, you get access to those games. It became more worth it when they added a full Quest Plus games catalog that gave you a bunch of back games that include like Red Matter, Jurassic World, Hand Physics Lab, Demeo, and a bunch of others, but ultimately it's dependent on you continuing to pay for that subscription all this time, so it's still not something I'm personally using as I already own a lot of the games, but something if you're new to VR it might be worth looking into. There'll be links down below to all the different games if in case you do want to wishlist or pre-order any of those, although again, like I said, I would wait. There's referral programs where you can usually save save more money. And if you aren't already in our Discord section, we have a whole spot for that, just where people can not only request those, but where you can actually post them, because the person who gets someone to buy off their referral link does get a bonus towards buying more games themselves. Are there other games on your radar that might be coming out this month, or sneaky releases that came up? Let me know about them in the comments section down below so other people can see them too. But thank you once again for being here with me, and I'll see you in another reality.